What? You kidding me? Oh, don't joke with me. OC is going on. Okay. All right. I'm gonna hand out a ruler. The next thing I'm gonna hand out, we need a map. Okay. This is gonna be a part of our next part. I do not want anyone to write anything on this map. This is the map we're going to use for the next couple days in here. I don't need any markings on it, so just be cautious of that. But everyone's going to get one of these objects. Okay? All right. Now again, just kind of like I warned you, if you're not comfortable with the ruler, I know most of you are, you gotta let me know. That way we can work on it kind of one-on-one kind of an idea. Because this can get challenging, especially if you don't know how to use the tools properly. He never used them. He wrote his name on them and never got to use them. Okay. Back there should be 4 coming back. Yep.
Mr. Ward.
Okay. Okay, just you'll be fine.
Okay, you want one?
Maybe I should. The metal bar is missing. It's gonna be more accurate. Okay. All right. Next thing. You need your map. Again, don't write on this. This is not yours. We're going to use this over the next couple days. We'll be turning these all back in here in a little bit. Hopefully I have the right amount here. Test by the end of the week possible. That's about as early as I might put it. This is the last section we're in. We've got to know how to do it. There's a lot of stuff they cover in one section, and I don't like it. So, I think there's 4 there.
5th grade, they probably do like classroom because they pick it up like hand and use them
I don't know if there's 3 there. It looks like there's 2.
fucking like yeah, because everyone was making that because they.
Okay. Hey, does everyone have one? Is there any extras?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, we're going to use this. Stop, please. Resist the urge. Oh, jeez. I didn't realize you gave that thing.
I got 2 of everything.
Yeah, didn't need to. Okay. All right. Real quick. The map. This Major Cities map. We're going to do something very, very similar to this on the test. So this is something you do want to take seriously, and it's not something that you can leave the classroom with. So it's going to stay here. The test day, I'll pick just a different map, same exact style. I'll give you whatever we need. What we're doing today, we've been talking about how to purchase a car, how to lease a car, how to get insurance on it. Now, what we're talking about today is we're talking about the fuel consumption and fuel economy and how far you can drive. That's what we're going to talk about today. So it's actually like logistics, like real things you have to think about if you want to take a vacation. I want to make sure that everyone in here knows how to use these two objects correctly. Now, on your ruler, I like you to be on the centimeter side. Be on the centimeter side. Now, this is the one side that doesn't have the metal pike. Eventually today, I want to show you how to use the other side because that's the US system and we got to know this. This side is pretty easy. The other side is a little more challenging. And that's why I said, like, this, if like you're not getting this, this is the big part of it. Like, you have to get this part right. So we're going to talk about that today. Okay. We have quite a few topics to cover. Number one, we got to talk about fuel economy on a car and mileage.
Will you take notes while you do this?
Yeah. So have your notes out. Don't write on the white piece of paper that I provided you. Don't draw it. So yeah, just don't do that. All right. Okay, this should be the last section. I think it's section 5.8, I believe.
Skip 5.7.
5.7 was mixed with the insurance stuff. I think that's what I wrote on Friday. I think I wrote 5.7 on the board. 5.8.
I've been in Denver.
Fuel economy and travel.
Des Moines, David Morton.
You never even been anywhere.
I've been to
All right. Okay. Hey, number one. we gotta talk about the mileage on a car first, and that will directly apply to the map here. And then we're gonna go into fuel economy next. Okay, so let's talk about mileage first. Oh, jeez. Alright, hold on.
Might be going on vacation this winter.
Going on vacation spring.
Alright. There's such a thing on your car called the odometer. It keeps track of the mileage or the distance that you're actually traveling in a car. Now, in your car, it's right on the dash, right below your speedometer. It's where you're checking your speed.
Oh, screw Hollywood.
Hey,
Been to Hollywood. Crazy.
okay. So on the odometer, the last column, whatever it is, usually on a car, there's usually 6 or 7 columns deep. The last one's always a different color. It could be white, could be orange, just depends on your car. This number is the decimal that goes behind. So if there's like a 4 in here, fine, it's 0.4 in the back. Whatever this number is up here,
Maybe
this is the number in thousands. Every 3 is where the comma goes. If you get past the point where you're past this last one, because it counts up, they count up from 0 to 9. Once you get past that, it rolls over back to 0 again.
Making money.
And that's when you sell your vehicle.
Yeah, no joke. But this is the one thing in a car that is supposed to be fail-safe, that you can't roll it back. It strips out the gears. I've heard of certain companies that now that everything is going digital, that some companies can actually roll things back, like very high-end brands will buy a car back from a dealer, like a car collector that has low mileage, and they'll put it back to 0 because the car was never driven. And that's technically illegal, putting the actual odometer back. And they justified it that it was a normal service, that the car has never been driven. They justify everything, but it's illegal. This is the one thing you have to be worried about in the car.
There's like nobody around.
So, now, when you're buying a car, high mileage is bad, obviously, right? This is, to me, like high mileage is anything over like 100,000, 150,000. Don't get me wrong, there's some cars that can go well beyond that. Like Toyotas, there's some trucks that can go up to 200, 300,000 because just the transmissions that are in them. Like a Toyota or a Honda can easily go 300,000-400,000 miles because of their engine. But I consider 100,000 mile is high, and anything beyond that, the reason being is that when you go into trade it in, they look at the odometer and say, hey, you have over 100,000, we're going to take off this amount of money for your vehicle. It happens to every dealership I've ever talked to because they consider that to be beyond high mileage. For a dealer, there's this weird secret number that they don't tell you, that when you have a new vehicle, let's say you were fortunate enough to buy a brand new car, where they ask you to trade it in, where you save yourself from losing a lot of money on depreciation, trade in every 30,000 miles on the odometer. That means by the time you hit 100,000 miles, it probably is already on its 3rd owner. Okay, that's some secret number that all car companies usually do. Any dealer says like after 35,000, you're supposed to trade it in because the warranties are starting to expire, and you're going to depreciate really fast. You'll get the most amount of money before 30,000 miles. So, here's my car. I traveled 15,000. Now, you have to also be cautious of what kind of car you're buying. If you're buying it from Europe, you're buying it from Canada, they go in kilometers. So that's a different thing. All right. Now. So now, here's the thing I want to worry about. Can we actually get to these types of distances on a car, and what's the real-time cost? So what that comes down to fuel economy. All right. Now, I'm going to share kind of a couple different websites that you can use. Okay, for fuel economy, they have a website called fueleconomy.gov. This is where you should check out your car that you're purchasing, and you can check out what the fuel consumption is of the car if it's working correctly. It's actually a brilliant website if you think about it. If you know your car is having problems, or you think like you have that suspicion that your car isn't working quite right, but you don't know, the fuel economy of your car will tell you that. So, most cars,
Let's see, who on one time?
most cars are rated in this band.
338.
Please. Okay. Bench. Okay. Alright. Most cars are rated in that band. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there's some trucks out there that won't even get close to that. I understand there's some older vehicles, muscle cars that won't get there. There's some new higher economical cars like Toyotas, Hondas, the Ford Fiesta electric cars that will get well beyond that, like a Toyota Prius will get up to 75, 80 miles per gallon easy on the little tank that it has, because it uses electric when you're in town, it uses gas when you're on the interstate, so it's kind of cheating the number, but it won't use hardly any gas when you're in town. This website will tell you exactly what your car should get. So for instance, I looked at my truck that I have, okay, what I'm supposed to get. So, I have a truck, it's a farm truck, I've had it since high school. Out of high school, just right out. Okay, the fuel economy of the truck that I have, and I wonder if I have the wrong, what? They don't have my 2500 on the next page. Okay, here it is. Okay. So my 2500 four-wheel drive should get, in theory, 10 miles per gallon. So that means when I go 10 miles, I lost 1 gallon of gas. So if my tank for the gas is a 25-gallon tank, okay, I can figure out how much it's going to cost me in gas, because I know what the price per gallon is, so I can multiply 25 by whatever the price per gallon is. But if I know that I can go 10 miles per gallon, that means all I have to do is multiply these together, and that tells me how many miles I can go. So in theory, I can go 250 miles. In theory. That, it's not going to be realistic. That's city, or sorry, highway.
Alright, throw me one.
Okay, highway. My truck actually only gets 6. Okay, so if I take 6 times 25, which is the realistic number, okay?
My truck is better than that.
If I take 6 times that, I'm getting 150 miles.
Yeah,
That's what I kind of warned you
and a
of.
half at least.
Okay, what I warned you of like a long time ago when I was talking about my own truck, I can get down in Des Moines and I have to fill up instantly, it's almost uneven. And then when I get in, I can drive back and I have to fill up, and then I get back again. Okay, it's about 150 miles down to Des Moines. About. Okay? Now, that's not great fuel consumption, but that's something I have to think about if I'm going to actually travel somewhere, or if I have to go get something. Because like a lot of people, like they want to travel to go buy something, they can get a better deal if they use Craigslist, eBay. They can go pick it up themselves. They save shipping costs. But this is something I have to think about. It costs me, it costs me a whole tank of gas to just drive to Des Moines. So if I have to go past Des Moines, let's say I have to go to Kansas City, I'll need 2 tanks of gas. Well, if gas is 25, I'm getting 25 gallons completely in that truck, and gas right now costs, what is it, like $2.80?
Close around there.
It's about $2.80. Okay? So I take $2.80, I take it times my 25 gallons. That tells me what I should be getting. How much money I should be spending. Okay? So, in theory,
Yeah, your truck.
$2.80.
What's gas?
I take it times 25. I spend, no joke, if I multiply these together, I'm spending $70, and that fills my entire tank. Then when I drive it up and down the street, I have to fill it up again. So it's one of those things like I think about when I'm buying a car. Like right now, I'm looking for a truck because I need it for snow removal and for the farm again. Okay. This is something I have to think about. The running cost of a truck isn't just insurance, it isn't just payments, it's not, those little things in title and registration. It's also the fuel economy of that car that's not great. Like, I understand it going into it. It's something that I just have to think about. Okay? Now, the one thing I want you to get realistic is to talk about this. Is how far can you, in theory, drive with your own personal car? Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. Now, if you don't have a car, I'll just make up a car and I'll put it on this. I like you to take out your Chromebook or get in a pod that at least there's one person with a Chromebook. Okay, at least one person needs it. Okay. What? If you don't have a car, just I'll make up a car for you. I'll just pick a generic. Okay. Now, hey, raise your hand if you do not have a vehicle right now, like you just don't have one. That's fine, because I know some people, it's not realistic. Some people live in town or they just don't have one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. Okay, so if you don't have a car, I'm just gonna give you my car, so you can look at mine. Okay, so the car you're gonna have, I'm not giving you my car, but I'm gonna let you get my numbers. Maybe I should stress that. All right, yeah, all right. Here's what I like to do. If you're on the website, I'd like you to go to fueleconomy.gov. Fueleconomy.gov. It's on the board. Okay? If you don't have a car right now, like you're looking for one, you're gonna use my car. It's a 2013 Ford Fusion. Okay? It is the 2-wheel drive version, titanium. Alright, so if you don't have a car, this is the car you have to use on your search.
They don't have the W350, they only have the W250.
Whoa!
You have to look that up right now. You have to look up what I in theory make.
Can I just use scales?
19.
Yeah, I want to use mine.
99.
Okay.
So if you don't have your own car, you have to use mine. So some of you will use mine, some of you won't. If you have your own car, you have to find it for your car. On that website, once you're on fueleconomy.gov, what you're going to click on is there's Find a Car right here. It's right below the title. It's Find a Car. That's the button you're going to click, and then once you click on that, down the right side they'll have the year, the make, the model.
They don't have the diesel.
Now, okay. So fueleconomy.gov.
Did that push the star?
What?
Did that push the star?
Yeah.
What number am I supposed to be looking for?
It's a fan.
Okay. All right. Find the car on the website right now.
Wait, what one? It has multiple Ford Fusions.
2013.
Look at that gorgeous rig.
2.4.
Guess what? The dual grade.
Might be the one in the very important.
Oh wait.
But now.
Not the hybrid.
I pay $6,000 more in gas than a normal vehicle.
All right. Hey, if you're searching mine, if you're searching my car is the front wheel drive, not the hybrid. It's the front wheel drive 2-liter. So that's mine. So maybe I should put that. So it's front wheel drive. They say instead of 2-wheel drive, it's front wheel. It's not the hybrid, but it's the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder turbo. Okay, that's the one you're looking at. I think it's near the bottom.
Vernon? Yeah. How much does yours say you get?
For what?
Miles gallon.
Well, I already know about it. Mine's like 15.8.
15. That's about normal.
Well, on here it says 17.4, which is
It's too close to the ballpark. I would be more concerned if it said 17 and you're getting 10. There's a mechanical issue with the car. That's something you can instantly tell when it's really dropping quickly, or if you notice there's a change. For mine, I know my fuel economy for my car is rated around 30. It's around there, but if I start getting 20s, there's something wrong. The fuel pump's going out, or I'm using the wrong fuel, that type of thing.
They don't have my vehicle on here.
They don't have my vehicle on
Do
here
you
either.
click the little arrow at the bottom sometimes?
That's why you know that.
Okay, diesel. Sometimes on
That's
those,
so
you
common.
might have to actually type in
No,
the search.
you got food.
Every
Sometimes you don't, because I think they all have petrol engines on these, so just pick one. Okay. Okay, hey, once you find your fuel economy, I want that number right now. Who's been researching mine?
26.
26 miles per gallon? Is that what it says?
That's regular gasoline.
Yeah. 26 miles per gallon? Okay.
4,
All right.
5 of my cars.
So, this is in theory what my car should get. So that's actually pretty close. I think I can, if I go up and down the highway or the interstate, I can get to up to 33. But it's rated at 26.
My diesel.
Okay. So, yeah, 33. that what it says for highway?
They just don't have. It says 32.
So I can get about 33. So my car is running efficiently, okay? In town I get about 26. That's about right. I consider like the in town to be the more realistic number. But I actually get 33. So I know that mechanically my car is doing okay. I know that there's nothing breaking. Okay, now here's what I like to do. I'd also like you to figure out on the website what size of tank does it have. So on the website, it should say what size of gas tank I actually have. It's big, usually. The trucks are. It doesn't have yours. Okay, use mine. So,
Your truck could probably have a 30.
what year? Is it like?
I know it's not 36, I know it's like 34, yeah.
Okay, they don't have it.
No.
Really?
Then it was probably 39 gallons.
I wonder if it was just they considered it like just a Pontiac, and then I wonder if it was just. I wonder if it was like a certain model year that they just didn't register it in the.
It's better on your fuel pump.
Some do, some don't. Now, hey, raise your hand if it doesn't say your tank size, because sometimes the website doesn't have that registered. So what you'll have to do is you're gonna have to go into Google and type this in. You don't have to type it all, but type in like 2013 Ford Fusion gas, like gas tank. And if you type that in, it'll tell you what size of tank you should have. I know what mine is supposed to be, but is that what it says? 13.2 to roughly 16.5. Okay, now, why do they say 16.5? Because they consider the lines of fuel, like the actual lines can store fuel, so it actually holds 16 gallons of gas. With the reserve tank, this is what it's rated at though. It's rated at 13. Because when my actual reader for the gas tank actually says empty, and I go to fill it, it says 13 gallons of gas in it. So that's what I fill. Because it has a reserve. They know you're gonna get stuck in a situation where you're on E and you're trying to drive to the town to get gas. They give you a little bit extra. There was an episode of Seinfeld that made me laugh really hard where the whole episode was them trying to see how far they could go in a car before it actually ran out of gas. My car, I know that I can make it well beyond 40 extra miles when it says E.
Yeah?
That's stupid, I would never do that, but I've had to.
I've been in that situation.
I've been in that situation, I figured out.
Mine's like 20 or 30.
Yeah, mine made it 4. Coming up, I already passed Dallas and I was coming back to Garner, and I was in the country driving. And I was like, I saw it once E, my light came on, empty. And I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, there's no gas tank. So I made an extra 40 miles before I made it back to Ventura where I filled it.
Nice.
And it went, like I'm not joking,
That's
like
why I get the
when I was filling my gas tank up, it went to like 16.1 gallons. When I normally fill at 13. So like I was nearly on E. So like this is a backup. Now, the reason why you should never do that, okay, and why we're gonna get to this here in a second. Why you should never do that is that it wrecks your fuel pump if there's not enough fuel in the line to push gas through.
My sister's.
So it actually damages your car if you try to do that a lot. And things break consistently. So, actually the best way to keep your car at top efficiency is to use the most expensive gas, which I know is stupid, but to use the most expensive gas, you get the best fuel economy. I know that seems backwards, but after you get the best fuel economy, is never let it go past halfway. The reason why is it keeps the pressure for the fuel pump correct, so it keeps feeding the gas correctly, and you're not straining the engine to get more gas through the line, because there'll be air in the line. So you'll actually get better consumption. I'm not very good at that. I usually let it get down to like a 4 or below before I fill, which is not good for the engine.
Yeah,
But-
E15 is.
No joke, you can get way more miles per gallon by just using better fuel, more expensive fuel. And get way better gas mileage.
Yeah, it's got more.
Now, here's what I want you to figure out. Okay, once you figured out, once you figured out what your gas tank size is, just this number. This is how many gallons I can fill in my tank. Okay, these are the two numbers I want to see. You have your gallons off to the side, and you know roughly what your fuel economy is. Okay, because you researched it. Now, if you couldn't find your vehicle,
Like you still
gentlemen,
yourself.
shh. Yep. Okay, turn around.
We're talking
So-
about gas.
I know. So, now, you have your miles per gallon, you have your gallons. Okay, once you have this, I want you to multiply these two numbers. So for my car, it's rated at city, it's 26, I'm gonna use the city number, I'm not gonna use highway. And you're gonna use this number. Now, if you couldn't find this number on Google, you're typing it wrong. Type in 2013 Ford Fusion fuel tank size, or something, or fuel tank, to full, or something like that. They will have something there. The website should have them, they're just, you have to go through specifications. Alright, so, okay, here's what I'd like you to do. The first thing, on your map, and we're gonna use the centimeter side of a ruler, we'll use inches tomorrow. Okay, on your centimeter side, this is the scale of the map that's in front of you. I did a little bit of research earlier, I did a little quick measurement, checked online what the actual distance is on the map. Here's what you need to know. And this is the number we're gonna use on yours, so you're gonna have to plug your own number in, okay? 19.2 centimeters on this map. And this is something you need to write